welcome back to Dropped In. I'm so grateful to be here with you. So today I thought it would be fun to share some fun facts. So here I am with you in this space, in this world of podcasting, sharing my voice, allowing you to see me, to hear me, to feel me, to be with me. But it wasn't always that way. I was petrified of speaking publicly. I was petrified of speaking my truth, of sharing my voice. I was petrified of not knowing the right answer, of not knowing what to say. And so this is the proof that this work that I facilitate works. So instead of allowing these limiting beliefs and these limiting decisions, and instead of allowing these fears and insecurities and anxieties and uncertainties and these big emotions that I was running away from for years and years and years, I leaned in to this deep subconscious work that I'm so passionate about. And I got to the root cause as to why I was experiencing these experiences, why I was holding on to these blocks and barriers of self. And so if we were to go back in time to my 18-year-old self in my first year in university, and that public speaking class that I enrolled in, which I have no idea why I enrolled in that, but I'm so grateful I did. But at the time, I wasn't. And if we go back in time to that class, there was about 100 students in that class. And one day, our professor sprung on us that he's going to invite us to the front of the class, and we're going to speak ad lib for 2 minutes on a subject that he shares with us once we get in front of the class. So the day came when my name was called, and I stepped in front of the class. I was so nervous. I was trembling. I was shaking. I was sweating. I couldn't make eye contact with anyone. My professor shared the subject with me, of which I would be speaking on ad lib for 2 minutes, and it was on style. Now, if you know me, I love style. I have my own unique style. I love to be stylish. I love to have fun, funky, nice things. And that's just part of who I am, and I own that. And so if I were to speak on style today, I would have so much to say and so much to share. But when I was that young 18-year-old self before I did all this work, I froze. I stood up in front of everyone and saw this sea of colors. Everything was like mixing and mingling together. Like I couldn't see clearly. I couldn't hear. It was like in this tunnel of like getting sucked into this vortex of being rejected. And so I stood there. My voice was trembling, and all I could say was, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do right now. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do right now. I don't know what to say. And I started crying in front of everybody. I was crying and I couldn't stop. And I was trembling and I couldn't stop. And I was like overwhelmed with anxiety and this deep-seated fear of being rejected that I completely shut down emotionally, physically, energetically. And these beautiful souls in my class were so kind and considerate, and they were prompting me and asking me, like, just trying to get me to speak something other than, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do right now. And so the 2 minutes was up. I hung my head down, so embarrassed, so full of shame. So much so that I didn't return to class. I dropped out of public speaking. I lost my credits. I lost parts of myself. And then fast forward. I'm in my coaching journey now. And, you've heard me say that it has not been easy for me to be seen. I've hid and done all the things. And so my partner and I were launching our retreat in Costa Rica. And so we thought it'd be great to do all these Facebook Lives and all these things. And so this was my very first Facebook Live. I was so in my head. I was so not dropped in. I was so nervous. I was so scared. I was like huge fear of being judged and being criticized and being rejected and all the things, all the stories, all the wounds, all the things came through in that very instant when I went to hit live. And guess what I did? I pretended my computer crashed and I ended the live because I was so in my head. I was so in my head. I was so not dropped in. I was so scared. I was so concerned about everyone judging me. But really, I was judging myself. And then fast forward, telling you all the horror stories, to a time where I was invited to clear my throat, excuse me, throat chakra energy here. I was invited to speak at a graduation for a school that had some significant events happen that was detrimental to their community. And so I leaned in and I was so nervous, but I practiced and I practiced and I practiced and I felt like I was able and ready and willing to do the speech. And so I was up in front of this class, sharing this beautiful message that was so heartfelt and straight from my soul. And I was sharing a really deep quote by Martin Luther King. And right when I was in the moment of, it was quite heavy at that point of the quote, but it turned out to be like super empowering. My mic died right in that very moment. And I couldn't continue the speech because the mic died. The mic was not functioning. And it was horrible. It was like this horrific experience, like your worst nightmare. Because I want to leave everyone feeling better than when they first encountered their experience with me. And it was such an unfortunate experience. However, that being said, many of the students came up to me and thanked me because they received my message so loud and clear. Although I didn't get to finish it, they did receive it. So all these worst case scenarios, all these nightmare experiences have occurred. And here I am speaking with you today on the mic on the podcast, on YouTube. And then fast forward. So it's October 2022. I'm in my immersion for my master practitioner. And my coach and mentor springs in on us that we are going to speak in front of everybody, sharing our hero's journey. And I ended up getting really sick at the immersion. I think it was just like a lot of the emotional and energetic releasing, the somatic releasing that I was experiencing. So I literally didn't have the energy to create this speech. So I stood up, it was the last day, and I was like, oh God, I'll just go first. I went first, and it was amazing. Yes, I kind of prepared, like I had an idea of what I was going to speak about, but it was not written. It was within me. Everything I need is within me now. That's like what I truly, firmly, deeply believe. And so I trusted that. I was dropped in, I trusted, and the message that I shared was profound and so deep and so significant. And I just remember feeling so liberated after that experience where I'm just like, like I could breathe more deeply. I could see myself more clearly. I could feel myself more intensely. And this is all a result. So my speech at my immersion, and here I am with you in this podcast. This is all a result of leaning in to the absolute worst case scenarios that I actually did experience, as well as all of the stories and make believe horror stories that I believed would happen to keep me safe and to keep me protected and to keep me in this place of playing small and being stuck and not being seen. So, my friend, I will say this often, you'll hear me say this time and time again, but I am the embodiment of what I teach. I practice what I preach. I have experienced all of the things, all of the modalities, all of the work, all of the things that I'm certified in, that I'm trained in. I've taken myself through those experiences first, whether with myself, by myself, for myself, or with trusted coaches, therapists, and mentors. But I want you to know that if it's possible for me, it's possible for you too. It's just a matter of how. And that how is leaning in and trusting your big picture visions, trusting your deepest desires, trusting the downloads that are coming through for you, and trusting that they're coming through for you because they're meant for you. They're meant for you to bring to fruition. And so I invite you to sit and reflect and to connect with what your soul is calling you to do. Maybe it's starting a podcast, maybe it's writing a book, maybe it's becoming a coach, maybe it's hosting a retreat, designing a program, designing a course, speaking. Whatever it is, know it's coming to you because it's meant for you. So how can you lean in and free yourself from the barriers of yourself? How can you get to this place of feeling so dropped into your self source power that you feel so confident and so courageous to share your magic and medicine with the world? Know that I see you, I believe in you, and that I love you. Until next time, we'll see you on Dropped In. Thank you so much for dropping in with me today. If you loved this episode, I would be forever grateful if you rated and reviewed. And if you feel called to share it with your community on social media, please tag me so I can thank you personally. Until next time, I will see you on Dropped In.